Hello, welcome everyone, anyone. It's Imogen here with Body Intelligence, and I am here with my guest, my friend, and my co-collaborator, co-teacher on some courses now for people dealing with trauma and stress, Shay Seaborne. So welcome, Shay.
Thank you,
And
Imogen.
we thought we'd look the next few videos really at the subject of work stress in particular. And so we're starting with the commute, whether that's, you've got an hour and a half on the interstate in rush hour, or you've got a few seconds walk into your home office space. There are challenges that we can end up bringing stresses that occur on the way or that come with us from home into work. We're human, that happens, but there are things that we can do to help us regulate our nervous system a little bit better on the way. And anyway, Shay, what would you like to say about this?
Well, I haven't had a commute or a job in a while, but I do very well remember the stresses of both. You can have stress from like missing your alarm, having something happen like the toilet overflows as you're like trying to walk out the door, kid issues, daycare issues, so many things. Even before you get into the car, you put your coffee on the top and forget and drive down the road. So many things. And it seems like that it can just build and build. So by the time you get to work, you can be in a pretty bad mood before you even walk in the door.
Yes, so some of that's to do with stuff that's happening from home that's kind of discombobulated before you even start going to work. And sometimes it's things that happen kind of on the way. You're in a horrible traffic or if you're on public transport, the bus did not come when it was supposed to, and now you're 20 minutes late, and it was really, really crowded because everyone, so there's all that sort of thing too. So we wanted to talk today about there's many things that are out of our control, but maybe there's a few things that you can do to help you be more regulated, as in feel a little calmer and more clear-headed as you actually get to work. So do you have some suggestions? Maybe we'll start off with I think more people than not are probably commuting in their car, but there may be some public transport, trains and buses, but it's maybe think about that first before we think about the people who are working from home.
For me, I had a 90-minute, 26-mile commute for 3.25 years. Stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. It was awful. And I knew it was going to be. So I decided in advance that I was going to make the best of it and not end up like those people that I had seen years before when I was, helping out with the election day stuff and waving the signs, and people would be coming around the corner at 7 o'clock in the morning. They're already dead from their day. So I think it's important to the environment of your car. Make sure you have, nice music, water to drink, and that you're comfortable and you're ergonomically positioned as well as you can. I changed over to standard transmission after I got that commute. Anything that makes you more comfortable is going to help reduce the amount of stress. But specifically, things to turn your attention to that bring you peace or joy or comfort or happiness, silliness, anything that can make you feel alive and good inside. Pretty much the opposite of your commute.
I'm thinking about when I've had long drives that audio books have been great, because even if I'm stuck in traffic, I get to have more time with this story, or and I'm, as many people may know, there's a lot of podcasts that I enjoy listening to these days. So a commute would be a perfect time to listen to some of your favorite podcasts. I would suggest not ones that rile you up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same with music. Singing in the car is really great. Singing is very good for the nervous system. We naturally take a shorter inhale and a longer exhale when we sing aloud, and that helps regulate the nervous system. And also, even if a singer is dead and you're listening to them on the radio and you're singing with them, you're still co-regulating with that person, with the energy that they put out. And you'll feel that in your body if you attune to it. And that can make such a big difference. Just like being present in your body while you're singing at a stoplight can give you a break from the distress of being in the car and having to go to this job.
The frustration of being at the 10th stoplight. Yeah, exactly. So if you're on public transport, the stresses of that tend to be more about it arriving on time or being really crowded, or once you're on the bus or the train, I think it's a little easier to then be with your book, or you've got your headphones on, you've got your phone, you can do any of those things. Maybe not singing out loud.
Well, if you want the car to yourself.
Yeah. So what about people who are working from home? And there's a lot more of us these days, and I say us because I do work from home, and I have done for several years now, and it's my own business, so that's a little different. I get to choose. I was just saying, just even today, we had our blocked sink in the kitchen, and we have, so I was just dealing with the plumber, and then who came here and so there's this merging of worlds and situations and stresses that's maybe happens a little bit more. There's not as much space between for people who work at home, and of course if you're working for someone else but you are in your home environment, there's that added pressure. And we all know in the pandemic that everyone got stuck at, well, not everyone, but a lot of people got stuck at home, and they also were having their kids were at home, and their spouse was at home, and they were all trying to work and do the school and everything at home, and it was all mixed up together. So
we had to learn a lot of grace during that period, didn't we?
Yeah.
Forgive people. I haven't had that experience of working from home for somebody else consistently. I would though set up some kind of way that I could pause between the two realms. Just do some kind of habit or routine or something. Go outside and go for a walk, or read a particular poem, or have a particular beverage, or something that marks the difference between this space and that space to help me make the shift.
I'm lucky that I literally have my own home office space that I can close the doors, and this is workspace. I love my workspace, but it's different from the rest of the house. But a lot of people don't necessarily have that situation, that they're having to work at their kitchen table, or at a corner of their bedroom or living room or whatever. But even if you can create some sort of space at all, I think it's helpful.
And any kind of like a starting or closing routine. In the morning, like just making something up. I would open up my computer and I would set my phone here, and I would set the alarm there for whatever meeting I needed to go to, and maybe even stop and say something to myself. Okay, it's time to get to work now, and I'm going to take a break and just, whatever. And to kind of set my mind and body into that position. And then same with the end. Okay, work is done. I'm closing this. Make it very clear. And I think that's even more important than having the specific space set aside for it. It's the space inside you that really matters.
Yes, it is. And I'm remembering some advice from, I think it's Daniel Pink in his book, When. He was talking particularly in this case about the end of your work day. And he suggested that people at the very end write down a short list of everything they've accomplished. Because what we normally do is we're checking off our to-do list and we see what we didn't get done. And that's the focus. So I really like that kind of turnaround. Doesn't mean you don't still have those things to get done, but it helps you like realize what you've accomplished. And that was his sort of ending ritual too.
I think that can be really helpful in our culture where we're so oriented toward accomplishment. And that's why we have those to-do lists that go on forever, because we're so focused on getting it done. And you're right. If we can look at what we got done, we can enjoy the satisfaction of that instead of just looking at the next thing that has to be done.
Instead of focused on, I didn't get that letter done, and I didn't do anything on my to-do list today. Oh gosh, I've got that all tomorrow. It's more like, but that's because I solved this major problem that came up, and I dealt with this client, and I thought, so you can really remember what you did do. I am thinking, and this applies to working at home or in wherever you do work, in your office or whatever it is. But for that transition time, having some sort of embodied practice of some sort that helps you have a little space, a little ease between, on the lines of what we teach in our course, would be a super way to work with those transitions, because it's helping you both let go of any stress. And when I say let go, it doesn't mean that it's gone, but there's a little bit more space between you and the stressor. All right. So help you have a little bit more space between the stresses of home before you get to the stresses of work, but also that you'll be in a little bit better place to deal with whatever comes your way.
Right, because you'll be more in your window of tolerance. More, your nervous system will be more regulated. When we start our day dysregulated, it's very hard to get to that point, to get to regulation again. Another Daniel Pink from When, he says a bad beginning is a bad end, that it's really better to start over. So if we can start our day or start our work day in a calm, receptive, relaxed sort of state, that's going to make our whole day go better. It's going to line us up for a good day.
I'm thinking for someone who, for instance, who has a long drive to work, or even a 20-minute drive to work, that's long enough, right? But it might be good to do one of these little practices, which, can take from 30 seconds to a couple of minutes. And we're not talking about a long time, that you would do, I would say, before you get in the car and do your drive, but also maybe before you get out of your car and go into work, that would also help cushion.
And I think both of those are opportunities to kind of like gather yourself, gather your energy and focus, and sort of solidify yourself for doing your best and being in that state where you can connect and make cool things happen. And I love the idea of doing these practices in the car on your commute, because even some of them, once you get, practice with them, you can just say the word ease and your body responds. So the light turns red and the car in front of you stops when you thought they were going to get through that intersection this time. And instead of going, ugh,
or saying something a little bit more.
I was good biting my tongue there. Instead, you can, like you've taught me about using a trigger as a turnaround. You can use a red light of any or whatever as a turnaround as a reminder. This is a time that I can just notice some ease and do a practice or two. And the value of this on your commute is that you are spending your commute going like this through your window of tolerance rather than being stuck up here somewhere. And that's what your body needs. The problem is when you get stuck up there, we all get this stress. And when we get stuck there, then we have trouble coming down, and that messes up our bodies. So changing it up by having these pauses through your commute can make a huge difference to your nervous system and your day and your quality of life.
I think the red light idea is brilliant, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Because, well, one, like you said, you're turning around something that's from mildly stressful to very annoying, depending on how late you are for work. And you know, but also if you made that a practice through your journey, that every time there's a red light, I'm going to use that as a chance to pause and just have a couple of moments to do one of these ease practices, that you're also practicing something that's a really useful skill to have in work, right? That when something annoying happens, that you're practicing pausing and redirecting your initial reaction so that you can come to a bit more clearer, calmer place to respond to whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. You need that calm place to respond effectively, because when you're not in that calm place, your access to your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that makes calm, reasonable responses and good decisions, is reduced by the activation in your body. So when you can calm yourself down, then you have access to that part of your brain, and a lot of things are better.
I'm just imagining a world in which everyone on the commute is practicing this way, and how calm the whole traffic system and interactions and pleasant it might be.
So. Yeah, instead of cutting each other off, be sure, come on in.
Yes. Anyway, anything else before we finish up today?
Golly, I can't think of anything. I think we did a really good job of covering it. Yeah, basically, don't get stuck in a bad mood. Do some things that can help you feel better, and keep doing those throughout your commute, and take our class.
Yes.
We'll tell you how.
And we do have our next course starting up on November 15th, Tuesday. Classes are at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's a 4-week course, and we teach some of the practices that we mentioned that you could use in this situation and many other situations.
I'm really looking forward to it, because I've seen this will be our 4th time teaching this basic foundations of regulation, and each time I've been amazed by the difference in the group and also in the groups, and also how quickly the participants come back saying, oh, I tried this practice and it made such a difference, and I really feel good about how I interacted with this person that's really been hard for me because I did these practices. It's just a very quick improvement in quality of life.
It can be. I'm thinking of someone that kind of relates to our topic today, who was using a practice because she was in a car accident and had to, you know, that could definitely happen on your commute, unfortunately. And you know, it doesn't mean it wasn't a stressful, horrible situation, but she was able to be calmer and not as anxious.
She said that normally she'd have a panic attack in a situation like that, which really isn't good when the police are there and, you know, there's a fender bender and all that. It's really a bad place to be. So it was still bad, but she did okay because she was able to maintain her window of tolerance when she otherwise wouldn't have. So just that alone is so gratifying.
Exactly. So, all right. Thank you so much, Shay, for doing this on a Friday afternoon.
My pleasure.
If anyone has any questions about anything, just put them in the comments. We're very happy to get back to you. And yeah, come to our course.
It'll change your life.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.